Hello and welcome to the F1Stop show. I'm your host Sam Oney, and with me tonight is Wes Spearman. Wes, how are you doing tonight?
Yeah, pretty good. It is slightly different play. I'm in Leeds at the moment, and it's a slightly different sort of setup and background. Future views anyway. Listeners on Anchor, Spotify won't have any idea what I'm talking about. But yeah, with the 100 last week of the 100 and traveling here, there, everywhere with with Southern Brave. Um, yeah, I'm really good. Thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm all right, thank you. Um, you seem to be everywhere at the moment. First you're in Southampton, then you're in I don't know.
Cardiff.
Yeah,
That's in
then
Cardiff
you're in
last week.
Durham, then you're in the Oval in Birmingham. Now you're in Leeds. Where else you get? What's next on the geographical cricket journey? Who knows? But well, let's jump into it, shall we? Because round 14, Belgium, Belgium always delivers, doesn't it? And it did exactly that on Sunday last weekend with Max Verstappen picking up yet another win in the most dramatic, eye-opening circumstances.
I think that's slightly over exaggerating, but I mean, to win from 14th on the grid, obviously a lot of the guys took, a lot of the guys, a lot of the drivers took engine penalties, which I think Verstappen started 14th, Leclerc 15th. Um, Bottas took one as well.
I
Can't remember
think
exactly who, but
one of the McLarens took a grid penalty as well.
Norris, I think. Yeah, I think Norris. I remember Norris starting low downish. Um, but yeah, to get, to win from 14th, I mean, first of all, is one hell of an achievement. But he got into first place on lap 12. Essentially, a quarter of the way through the race, he'd made up 13 places. It's just insane. A, how good a driver he is, and B, how quick that Red Bull car is as well. Because Perez was quite some way clear of Carlos Sainz as well towards the end of the race, and Verstappen was like 7 seconds clear of Perez anyway. Um, there was quite a gap between the two Red Bulls and then Sainz in third place in the Ferrari. And yeah, no, perhaps another weekend to forget for Ferrari, but yeah, just Verstappen. I mean, how many times do we have to say dominant Verstappen has been over a race weekend? This was just another almost perfect weekend for him. Um, took the race win, got fastest lap as well off um, Charles Leclerc, Ferrari pitted Charles Leclerc on the second to last lap to try and get in the fastest lap. Verstappen, he didn't get it, whether Alonso overtook him and Verstappen got it. But yeah, just again, another. We need to make a tally chart of how many times one of us has said Verstappen has been dominant over the course of a race weekend because it was just that dominant again from Verstappen.
And Verstappen made history yet again as he won his 29th race in F1 in his racing career. Um, 29 F1 wins. That's more than Fernando Alonso, uh, Sir Jackie Stewart. I think more than Graham Hill as well. I think now he's only behind the likes of Alain Prost, Vettel, Mick. I was going to say Mick there. Michael Schumacher. Sorry, very sorry. And the great Sir Lewis Hamilton. So I mean, 29 wins in F1, and Lewis Hamilton sits atop on 103. So I mean, if he keeps going at this rate, say he could he could get close to 103 in a few years to come, especially with the new contract that he signed last year.
Yeah, I can't remember how many years he's with at Red Bull after that contract, but the scary thing is he's only 24. He's only 4 years older than me. No, not 4 years older than me. 2 years older than me, which is crazy to even think about. And yeah, he's won, as you say, 29 uh, races, Grand Prix already. That's puts him into eighth on the all-time most race wins in Formula One, as you say, ahead of Jackie Stewart, Jim Clark, Niki Lauda, Fangio, some truly great names of Formula One, and he's got Nigel Mansell in his sights at next on 31, Fernando Alonso on 32, and a slight gap between your Sennas, your Prost, your Vettels, and then an even bigger gap to Schumacher and Hamilton. Yeah, I don't see any reason why Verstappen can't get up to and even break those records set by Schumacher and Hamilton. As I say, he's only 24, so he's got at least another decade, you would think,
Yeah.
of F1 racing in him. And if he stays in a competitive car like he is at the moment, and hopefully Red Bull or whether he jumps ship from Red Bull however many years down the line, and don't know, it'd be quite. I think it would be quite a big breakup for that to happen. For Verstappen to leave Red Bull. But yeah, I don't see any reason why he can't break 100 Grand Prix wins at there. And yeah, he's still so early into his. Well, he's not early into his career. He's into his seventh year, eighth year of F1. I mean, most people would dream to have a career in Formula One of that length, but the fact that he's got another potential decade and a bit to go is scary. And you just think in 10, 12 years' time, are we going to be looking at Max Verstappen statistically the greatest driver of all time?
Wow,
I mean,
that is very scary.
it's a long way off, yes, but it's not out of reach by any means. I don't think.
I mean, if you've got if you've got a great car, great driver, great team principal, great team, and you're winning races like this, I don't see what can stop you. Well,
I mean,
before this
it's his
becomes
ninth. It's his ninth one of the season as well, isn't it? I think.
that's ninth
So
out of
he's
14.
moved up. He's overtaken the likes of Hakkinen and Raikkonen. He basically moved from 17th in the all-time most race wins to to eighth. He's gone up 9 places in the course of what, 2/3 of the season, if you like, which again is something. And I mean, he could potentially break into that top six come the end of this year. He only needs 3 more to go level with Alonso, and then 4 more, which again, I see him getting 4 more race wins in these last 8 races. I think he can win half of them, and then jump into 6th place in the most time, all time most F1 wins. And again, he's only 24 years old. A
It's
remarkable career.
it's quite something, isn't it? And just to add on to that before going into the race, did you know that in the season in which he won his last drivers' championship for Red Bull, Sebastian Vettel in 2013 had won the final 9 races to win his fourth and final drivers' championship with Red Bull in 2013. So if Max is on what 3 races, if he's on a 3 race winning run now,
Yeah, three race winning streak. Yeah,
and there are what
with 8 races to go, you could get 11 straight wins.
now, yeah, that is something. Anyway, so let's talk about lap 1 of Belgium. You know, Carlos Sainz is on pole with I don't know who was in second place, maybe Perez.
Yeah, Perez. Yeah, he
Perez.
had a really poor start, Perez, and then dropped down to about fifth.
Yeah, he was losing
And yeah,
places.
then managed to climb back up lap or two afterwards.
And Sainz was keeping his cool at the front. And it wasn't until we got to the say I think Camel Straight or bus stop chicane where well Alpine's Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes had a coming together in which the British driver may have you know came into contact with Alonso, and let's just say the Spaniard didn't take too kindly with with him being bumped by his former teammate.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, there's a bit of history between Alonso and Hamilton going back to when they were teammates in 2007. Hamilton's rookie year, almost won the championship in his first year. Um,
Wow.
yeah, they just didn't get on. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't really remember F1 back in 2007. Um, yeah, as I say, going down the Kemmel Straight, Hamilton I think he was in third. Alonso moved up to second after that poor start by Perez. Um, and yeah, going into Les Combes, I think that chicane is.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, going into the right hand, Alonso had the inside line. Hamilton made the move or tried to make the move around the outside, and for me, I think Hamilton just squeezed in on Alonso a bit too much, and his right rear clipped Alonso's front left and sent him up in the air, and unfortunately landed back on all four wheels and seemed to be okay. But see, when you have a crash at that speed and you have a car go that high into the into the air and slide back down on the ground, of course things are going to get damaged. And you had to retire the car. I think later that lap, I can't remember whereabouts, but I think it was into one of the fast left-handers coming up towards the bus stop chicane. Um, yeah, I think Alonso after that that crash said that basically Hamilton only knows to start and drive or win from first, or so he only start from first or something. Which I
Mm.
think he has some sort of point because I mean, how often has Hamilton got pole and led pretty much every lap of the race? But I think I saw on Twitter that Hamilton's got more wins not from pole than Fernando Alonso has in his entire F1 career,
Yeah.
which is also a good point. Yeah, it's for me. I think that was Hamilton's fault. He just turned in a bit too much into that right hander. I think Alonso had left enough space, and I think Alonso could have gone further to the right onto that corner. He was pretty much halfway on the curves as he was. Um, yeah, Hamilton's fault for me on that one. I know I've seen other people say racing incident, but Hamilton's fault for me. I think he cut across Alonso's line, and some could say that he was sufficiently ahead, but you're not going to back out of a move like that if you're if you're either driver, I suppose.
Indeed. So and throughout the race as well, we saw that there was apart from that first lap crash, we also saw Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly and Sebastian Vettel also having a nice little tussle during the race for track position as well, which I thought was really good. Um, I don't know if you saw that. What did you make of it?
I think that was. I mean, it wasn't much of a battle, I'd say, because it was all pretty much done on the Kemmel Straight, and then it was Ocon, I think, went round the outside of uh, Gasly into Les Combes. But I think seeing F1 cars three wide going down the Kemmel Straight is one of the greatest sights in Formula One, just because you don't have. I mean, it's not the widest straight, the Kemmel Straight.
Mm,
And to get three cars side by side, um, you're not leaving much space um, towards the edges of the track, along with the scenery as well. It just makes for such beautiful photos. Um, but it was brilliant to watch. I mean, I think it was Ocon and Gasly both had DRS with Vettel um, ahead going into or going onto the Kemmel Straight, and then DRS with the long straight. And I think it was Ocon to the left, Gasly to the right, and then just sailed past Vettel, and then Ocon managed to get past Gasly, and it was brilliant move, and yeah, brilliant to watch. I mean, as I said, I think seeing cars go pretty wide on any circuit is great, but down the Kemmel Straight, it just feels a bit extra special, you know.
So the race itself, um, if you're a Ferrari fan, which basically me, which I really liked Ferrari this season, but I gotta say, if I had to rate each of the teams out of 10 so far, how their season have gone, you know what? This will make you laugh or surprising. At this point in the season, Haas have a higher or slightly higher rating than Ferrari out of 10, in my opinion.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from because yeah, Haas have been a good surprise, I suppose, if you
Yeah,
like. They've actually managed to score some points and finish I think top six, top seven a couple of times with both K-Mag and Mick Schumacher finishing, I think, sixth place. I think they've both got sixth place. Ferrari, especially over the last few weeks and few races, they've just messed things up. Really, let's be honest. Whether it be strategy or driver error, like Leclerc in France, and there was another one, Imola as well, where he spun off or crashed out and dropped points. I think they've lost essentially about 100 points. Ferrari from whether it be reliability, driver error, or just strategy. Um, this weekend they put the drivers on the two stopper. I think Leclerc pitted fairly early on for medium tyres. I think he started on the soft and changed to mediums, and then pitted later on for another set of mediums. Then second to last lap, pitted for a new set of softs to try and get past his lap, which he didn't end up getting. So he actually lost a position to Alonso. He regained it and went back into fifth. I can't remember where he was running at that point. He might have been in fourth. Was he on for a podium? Perhaps I can't quite remember now. Yeah, as a result of that weekend, the weekend just gone, sorry, Perez has now leapfrogged Leclerc into second place in the Drivers' Championship. So I'm thinking at the start of the season, could this be a battle between two drivers and two different teams again? Verstappen and Leclerc. Well, actually, is there much of a battle now? Because people still think that it's Verstappen versus Leclerc, but Leclerc's now in third in the championship. He's 5 points behind Perez, who's like 93 points or something behind Verstappen out in first. It's a long, long way for Leclerc and Perez as well, to some extent, for them to claw back any kind of points on Verstappen because he's just going to keep winning and winning and winning. And the Red Bull aren't. I mean, yeah, if we might get some sort of like quote unquote natural sort of race win from Perez, but if it comes to it, then of course they're going to let Verstappen go first. They're going to implement team orders and make sure Verstappen wins that championship as early as he can.
Yeah, indeed. Sorry. So with just under 10 minutes to go, and we've still got the Dutch Grand Prix to preview. So let's just rate Belgium out of 10 and go to the Netherlands. So how would you rate Belgium out of 10 then?
I think it was an all right race. I don't think it's been one of the standout races of the season. So a lot of the action was condensed into that sort of first quarter of the Grand Prix, the first sort of 12, 13 laps. A bit of action at the end, I suppose, with that sort of that late double overtake and Leclerc failing to get past his lap, I suppose. But I think I'll give it a 6 overall. It was decent, but not overly memorable, certainly compared to other races we've had this season.
Um, you know, I agree with everything that you said there. 6 out of 10. I think, yeah, like you said, everything happened in the first 12, 13 laps, you know, and Max Verstappen stands on top of the podium once again. So, the Dutch Grand Prix, Zandvoort, Max's home race, if you like. Back again after, well, a year, 12 months ago. Well, we could say that Max Verstappen was dominant again, and the question remains: will he be dominant a second time round in the Netherlands? So, what are your predictions for the race?
Pretty much exactly that. More Verstappen dominance, I think. Um, so no one could really touch him last year. I don't remember it being that exciting a race last year. I think main sort of hype about it was Zandvoort's back after 20, 30 years, however long it was. I think obviously the banked curves do add something to the circuit.
Hmm.
We sort of can still get a faster line. It's sort of almost two racing lines into the corner. You've got the slightly longer, but you can carry more speed through the higher up bit, if you like, the outside of the corner. But you've also got a slightly shorter, but yes, slightly slower speed inside line, if you like, to the corners. But I think we saw a few different things last year. Drivers taking one line. Like it's almost like you can properly overtake around the outside of the corner because you can carry more speed. Um, yeah, I'm interested to see what Zandvoort throws at this year. I don't know too much about the circuit, but obviously Verstappen will want another race win in front of his home crowd, and yeah, I don't see any reason why he won't do that.
Yeah, I agree with what you've said. I think Verstappen's gonna come into his home race thinking, I want another win. Second drivers' championship is almost or pretty much in my grasp to take. Um, I can't really see anybody touching him or getting close to him during the race. So, I mean, for a podium, you may as well put the Red Bulls together with Max Verstappen on top, and then maybe I don't know, a George Russell, if you like, getting a third place. So, yeah, other exciting news just to wrap up the episode is that a few days ago, or yeah, a few days ago, Audi, German car manufacturer, partner with Volkswagen, announced that they will be joining Formula One in 2026. That's right, another car manufacturer coming into the sport. But I think they will just be an engine supplier as opposed to a team. I'm not really sure how that
Sure, I
works.
think they are. I think they are going to run a team because I think we've got Porsche also sort of trying to enter Formula One, but I think they'll mainly want to be. They'll be partnered with Red Bull, I think, um, as a main engine supplier. Red Bull have got their own sort of in-house Red Bull powertrains engine supplier at the moment, off the back of Honda leaving F1. So Porsche, from what I've heard anyway, are sort of join up with Red Bull. That's not been confirmed yet. It's not been sort of signed off yet. Yeah, I think from what I've seen, Audi plan to enter their own team, not just an engine supplier, into F1, as you say, in 2026. And they've been in Formula E. I can't remember if they left Formula E at the end of last season, but they've had some success in Formula E with the Formula E team. I mean, Audi have been in all sorts of motorsport. I think probably arguably most famously Le Mans and endurance racing. Yeah, I think it's great to see Audi and hopefully other car manufacturers like Porsche, for example, get into Formula One. I think only having more teams is good for Formula One because that means more seats and more action, if you like, on track. And I'd like to see where they fit into F1, whether they'll slip into something like an Alpine McLaren sort of thing, or I don't suspect they'll be challenging for championship. Certainly not in the first few years, but hopefully they're not going to be back markers, if you like. They'll
Yeah,
be a decent midfield team at least to start, and yeah, hopefully because they've got a lot of motorsport pedigree. Audi, will it be rallying, uh, endurance racing, Formula E, as I mentioned. Hopefully they can pull it off in F1 as well.
yeah, surely, surely we'll hope to see what happens in 2026 when they enter the sports, the pinnacle of motorsport, if you like. So, um, just to sign off, this has been. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the F1 Stop show. Well, Max Verstappen was once again dominant with win number 29 of his F1 career, and Zandvoort is your next stop in the F1 calendar, the Netherlands, if you like, just next door to Belgium. So, I've been your host, Sam Oni, and do not forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and you can also email us at f1stopshow@gmail.com. So, I've been your host, Sam Oni, and it's a goodbye for me. Bye. And it's a goodbye from Wes.
Bye bye.
And we'll see you soon for the Dutch Grand Prix.